luxury brands. And what they're doing is they're coming in with our students and they're working on data analytics part of the program, where they're actually enabling our students to start researching for them, and then mentoring the students in developing digital transformation projects through research, and enabling them to develop how they can support businesses and business functions with developing the AI for these businesses. So this is a really great opportunity for our students, and these are a really big brand that are really helping our students. They're an incredible team of people that are coming over to London. They're flying over from New York, and they're working with our students very closely over the week, which is really exciting. And they're doing some great touch points throughout the whole academic year for our MBA students. So just a little bit to explain with you about what happens across the MA programs, and also with, you know, the whole ethos about how we develop as learners throughout the MA. Because what we want to do is make you a master in your subject, essentially, and that's my ideal goal, is to do that. And it starts really before you even arrive, before your pre-arrival. So people like Sylvia and Faisal, and you know, all these people that are really helping you support this is really important, because they are the people that can really guide you and support you with this whole process about understanding what you need to do, and myself about how you can come onto the program. So that pre-arrival is really, really important to understand what you need to do, how you develop your personal statements, and how you and what you need to do to develop to be able to join us. So it's not that you need to have you know, a portfolio for the fashion business programs. You don't even need to have any background within fashion, studying fashion, but your interest in fashion and luxury and all these key areas is really, really important, because what we do in term one is we teach you the conceptual frameworks and introduce you to the subject of fashion and luxury and culture, and how that can really embed within fashion business and give you that knowledge. And then by term two, we start giving you the core knowledge of the programs, because by term three, we want you to start applying that at like more of a management level, deep level learning, and that's through the whole of the assessment process. Because by term four, you go off into professional development, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that shortly. And then by term five, you're off either working on a final project or a dissertation, where you become an autonomous learner, because actually what we want you to do is develop through all these stages to become independent and have all that research which underpins that whole of that program for you. What we do, I just mentioned to you a moment ago about professional development. So in term four, we have what we can either do is your industry placement, where you can go for 3 months on an industry placement. So you work really closely with our careers team to develop a partnership with a business, where we will help support you through our system called Simplicity, which has plenty of jobs available for you in different programs where you might be interested to go on a placement for 3 months. So this is all through a contractual agreement with ourselves as a university, because obviously we need to protect you while you're on that placement, or you go on what's called the accelerator program. Now, the accelerator program is an opportunity where students who want to develop their own businesses, I have a lot of students that come from Asia who want to go back home and support the family business, or they might even want to be very entrepreneurial and develop their own business. So what the accelerator program does is it does just that. So we actually bring people in who are helping you with business planning. It will be developing your own pitching skills, and it will just really help develop you through an incubator hub of developing your own skill sets to develop your own business practice. Oh.
Of all of the knowledge that we've gained, and also places becoming competitive and
So that's just a short insight into some of the accelerator program. We have actually got a longer video, and you can actually have a look on our LinkedIn and also on our Istituto Marangoni London page to actually have a look and see how the accelerator, some of our students were performing on the accelerator program. But the student that actually won this year, because it runs across all the MA programs, was one of my fashion business students, and that was Jenny, and she was on the fashion promotion program, and she won. She had a really fantastic project, which was about a digital platform platforms for young creatives. And actually what's great is we had people very interested in speaking to her who are particularly, there was a lady who's particularly interested who wants to develop other young female entrepreneurs. So she's very interested in meeting with Jenny and actually talking to her about actually setting this whole business up and investing in her business, which is really great. What I think is also really important is to understand your jobs by sector, because obviously there is some crossover between some of them, but particularly within your fashion buying and merchandising, and also within fashion and luxury brand management and fashion promotion and communication, there are job roles which are specific to your master's program. And these are all job roles which are particularly important that we have had students who've left our programs and gone on to do. So these are the key specific roles which are really important. And what you also have to understand is the industry connections and the links we have, which helps through all the networking events we do, also all the live projects we do, and also the professional placements and our careers team that support you with actually connecting with these industry links, is really important in helping you secure these placements or these opportunities upon graduation. So just to explain a little bit more about all the programs. So you'll see here there's some blue boxes. Now all these blue boxes are really important to actually understand, because across all the fashion business masters programs, these are all exactly the same. So the different units are the ones that are in white. So you'll see that luxury, fashion and culture, research methods, enterprise and innovation, professional development, and final major project and dissertation are all the same. And they're all the same across all the master's fashion business programs. So you'll all be working on these units, and you might well be working with other students across other master's fashion business programs, or you might well just be working on your own course within those programs. But what we really want to do is in term one is obviously explain to you a little bit about the fashion and culture and luxury, because actually it underpins your practice. Then within term 2 and 3 is understanding research methods and actually how you can really start creating understanding about whether or not you're going to be going down a much more entrepreneurial route or a much more business practice route within a business. In enterprise and innovation, we start looking about whether you're understanding companies intrapreneurial, where you might be wanting to work on an industry placement in professional development unit, or entrepreneurially, where you might make a mini business proposal for developing an entrepreneurial project in professional development through the accelerator program. And then obviously by term 5, that research methods will actually really enable you to understand whether or not you're going to do a 10,000 word dissertation, or you might want to do a final major project, which could be a complete culmination of, you know, whether you're doing a photo shoot with a research paper to go alongside that. You might well be doing designing a collection of clothing, which has a campaign alongside that, because it might be a collaborative project. It might be that you are developing a magazine which has a collection of journalistic pieces, and again alongside that you'll be writing a rationale proposal beside that. So there's a whole collection of different projects that you can actually do alongside your final project. But within fashion and luxury brand management, what we're doing is we're really introducing you to luxury marketing, really to do with strategic luxury branding, supply chains, and obviously within luxury management. Now, what's interesting this term, the students have been working on a project with Jacquemus, and then next term they're going to be working with who they're working with. I'm so sorry, I've completely forgotten. I've had so many meetings with so many different brands. We've been working, well, term 3 will be with Burberry, and term 2 is with Templey. Sorry, Alice Templey. So we're going to be working with those brands over the next 2 terms, and they've given us projects to work on and live briefs to work on. So what I'm doing with term 3 with Burberry is actually working with the MBA and the luxury brand management student to actually try and complement a project which can actually work across both programs, which is actually about digital transformation for the business, which is actually really exciting. And so these are just some examples of work that students have worked on before. We've done some projects with Mulberry, and the students have all, some of our careers team did a great trip with our students down to Somerset to the actual factory to actually visit the factory for the Mulberry stores, and that allows students to have a real understanding of all the supply chain, the sustainable processes and all the materials, and understand actually how the product is created. Fashion buying and merchandising, as you can see, you've got all the blue units, but this is a really interesting program. And actually, there's only two other well, this is one of two programs, which is within MA in buying. And it's a really unique program where we are really teaching you the fundamentals of how to become a buyer or a merchandiser within the luxury sector. So you are really teaching all the functions, and these are the fine tuning of the functions of how you can go into this. So it's very practical. It's great if you're good with numbers, and it's really good if you understand the elements of wanting to look at supply chains and also understand digital supply chains, smart factories, understanding fabrics, looking at creating a range but never actually making it, so you never actually put it into production, but you can actually put ranges together and design and develop your own ranges. And this was the one that we were doing with Paul Smith, is looking at retail ventures, you know, putting all your retail ventures together and also collecting all the data and analytics to understand how these strategies develop retail. Visual merchandising, it might be point of sale, it might be many different things which actually look at the future of fashion retailing as well. And there's just some examples of how students have been putting together customer analysis for buying management. This is similar to what they did for Bentley, putting the customer analysis together, and then some forecasting trends for retail concept venture. But again, you can see how creative this work is. So of course, we've got all the information that's been put together critically and reflective, but also the creative concepts here as well. And finally, for the masters, not the MBA, but the masters, we have fashion promotion. So this is where our students get very creative, where they're making a creative fashion film, fashion promotion. You're looking at fashion events, and then writing journalistic. So actually, if you're looking at fashion narrative, you know, you might want to do that digitally. You might want to do that within a brand zine, in a magazine. And also through the art direction and editorial, you can do the fashion styling, the photography, and the fashion film, and make that within fashion visualization. But alongside that, what you do in term 3 is you come to do the fashion management, where you start looking at strategy and fashion branding. And then that's where you start really focusing on how all the fashion promotion actually really takes shape and starts looking at the fashion management. So you can actually really be enabled through business practices as well, through fashion promotion. And here there's just some examples of work, and this was the digital promotional campaign that we talked about earlier for Swarovski. Finally, we've got the MBA. Now, the MBA is over 4 terms, because the other MAs are 15 months because you have a 3 months placement, but the MBA is over 12 months, so it's just 1 year because you have a final 3 months consultancy project. So in the first term, what you're doing is you're understanding all about the digital business models. We are introducing you to digital transformation. There are no other digital transformation programs for fashion particularly. This is very much focused on fashion specifically. We've been looking at, you know, we've been into the working with the Paul Smith team, which was specifically within digital transformation, working with Holition, which specifically work with digital transformation for all the luxury brands, with Tiffany's. They've been working with Loewe. They work with many different brands that specifically focus on all the digital transformation with data and how you can present data. And as I said, we're working with Maison Meta in term 2, and again with the consultancy project in term 4. But what we also want to do is enable you to understand the whole processes of digital transformation, which works within business practices, particularly within the fashion sector. So our students this week did their pitches. We went to the Bulgari Hotel in London, in Knightsbridge, and the students presented and pitched all their work for their first sets of presentations. And we had the team come in and watch the students present their work. And the Bulgari team came in and watched them present their work for final resolution of ideas, which was really great for them to actually come and watch. So that was lovely. And there's just an example. We have very different tutors who teach on the MBA. Students that come onto the MBA, we'd like them to have at least a couple of years experience within industry. That might be through an internship, it might be through some kind of work experience, as well as obviously the undergraduate. But these tutors that we have don't teach on the master's programs, they teach just only on the MBA program here with us. And also I teach on the MBA program alongside that as well. How assessment works. So assessment works very differently on the master's programs. We don't have any exams. We don't have anything like that. Even within the MBA, we don't have any exams. We do this very creatively. We want you to be able to experience the reality of practice, which is also things like business reports, it's pitching, photo shoots, range planning, mini business plans, branding campaigns, marketing reports. We're not going to sit you in a room and make you do some assignments. It's not like that at all. It's very organic in that approach and very portfolio led. And we really want you to be able to get the practical element of work, which is vocational, which is aligned to what would be expected of you within industry at the same time. Graduation day. This is my favorite day. I just wanted to share with you some examples of what happens at graduation day, because this is really special. It is only 15 months after you arrive with us. Our induction week activities are really important. I will induct students on week 1, and everyone forgets everything by the end of that week, everything I've told them. I've had many conversations with students in week 8 and said, do you remember when I saw you on day 1? They've forgotten everything. But this is a really important day. This is where we celebrate with all our students the graduation day. Now, this was class of 24. They joined us in 22, and they graduated in 24. And we had a fantastic event. We did this in a wonderful hotel in the Metropole in London. It was beautiful. And it was a really lovely event. And this is a really special day because this is your opportunity to shine when you graduate. You have a fantastic opportunity, if you want to, is to stay in the UK for a further 2 years. You get a graduate route visa if you pass and complete your master's program, so you can stay with us for another 2 years. And this is a lovely opportunity for you to really grasp, whether or not you're going to do your entrepreneurial projects, or whether you're going to go and work in a business, something that maybe you worked in within your industry placement as well. So we hope to see some of you here with us, and then hopefully I'll be standing on stage with some of you on your graduation, and it will probably be the class of 27 at that point, and I hope so. There you go. Thank you, everybody. It's lovely to meet you all.